Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism and understanding narcissistic relationships and healing from them. So let's talk a little bit about something I'm going to call realistic future faking. Let me give you some examples of realistic future faking. Once we close the deal, we're going to go away together for a week, right? And the deal closes in about a month. Or we're going to have the holiday dinner at your house next year. Or once we get the end of year figures, which I'm confident will be great, we're going to be hiring more people. So you just need to work through this holiday season and it won't happen again. That feels believable if someone said that to you, right? The future faking that is not too future. The future faking that pins to something specific, that seems plausible. For example, in a month, in fact, you knew that that deal will close. That seems like a reasonable amount of time to wait for. You can put it in your calendar. Or in that family, they said it's everyone at the table. The holiday dinner is going to be at your house next year, and you can plan for it because you know the date. The holiday's at the same time every year. That seems believable. Or the manager in your company, they're confident about these end-of-year figures. So you're thinking like, okay, one holiday season, it's worth it, because then next year is going to be easier. And there are even some people you like at your job, right? Plausible future faking is actually quite awful because it firms up the trauma-bonded justifications. And it actually plays on your short-term hopes, which is a lot of what get us through life and get us through the day. With plausible, realistic future faking, we are often more likely to gaslight ourselves. Listen, it's one thing if the narcissistic person says to you, hey, I'm going to go to therapy and I'm going to change and it will all be better. Or after the narcissistic person cheats on you 5 times, says something to you like, it won't happen again. Or when the narcissistic person says, okay, don't worry, next time it will be different. Or after you finally find the strength to leave the relationship or go no contact, they finally reach you and make all the promises and you go back. That's the traditional kind of future faking, the sort of empty promises, no set date, no clear outcome. If the deal closes on June 15th, it is plausible that you will go on vacation on June 21st, right? Those are hard and fast things. If the narcissistic person says something flimsy, like I won't do it again, and they've done it many times, having said they won't do it again in the past too, well, that's a bit of a sucker bet, right? So all future faking works because the narcissistic person is promising something we really want. In a way, and this is where it's so nefarious, it shows that they were sort of listening to us. For example, they could hear that we wanted them to make time for vacation, or that we really wanted to host the holiday in our new house, or that the feedback that your workload and the staffing, that it was untenable, that there wasn't enough support, that feedback was finally getting through. But when the future faking is plausible, something that's concrete, or it's realistic, or it can be done soon, we buy it. And sadly, we might even feel heard because what they're promising seems realistic, so we stick it out for a little longer. And in this way, we can sort of stumble, punch drunk a month at a time, 6 months at a time, waiting for that next realistic hurdle to cross. And where it gets really tricky is when some of the promises they make do come through. Then it's not future faking, obviously. Then we are back at the intermittent reinforcement in those slot machines I'm always talking about. If they keep every 5th promise or every 10th promise, then there's the possibility that all those promises that they don't keep in between, but there's a possibility that those other promises could be true too. And when that happens, the future faking becomes a potent trauma bond and stuckness catalyst because we believe that the thing that they're dangling in front of us is real. And when it doesn't happen, we may even think, well, nobody gets it right every time. And we did go on vacation a few years ago when they promised it would happen then. So we think, well, it's possible it could happen now. The loosey-goosey future faking, the I'm going to change, or I see what I need to do, or I'm not going to cheat on you again, that stuff, we start to get that pretty fast. We know they're not going to do those things. especially when they cannot articulate what exactly it is that they need to change. That should right there be a big future fake red flag. We also know they won't change if they aren't offering up a true apology. They say BS like, "I'm sorry you feel that way," or "I can see that you're bothered." That's not an apology. An apology means that they see that they did or said a bad thing or a hurtful thing. But I think we forget that there are different shades and forms of future faking, and that plausible, realistic future faking is tricky. So pay attention when it happens. When it's realistic, you don't have to go shooting it down, right? You don't have to say things to them like, "That's never going to happen. I know you won't do it." I know you can say that inside, but there's no point telling them that. But pay attention to how it may lead you to push down your concerns about the relationship and your clarity about the relationship. Recognize that sometimes when those promises are kept, every so often they see through the thing they promised, it becomes even trickier. Because the promises aren't the problem in these relationships. It's the day-to-day betrayals, invalidations, manipulations, cruelties. And future faking becomes one more manipulation to keep you where they want you. And to hedge against any future faking, we have to be well aware of our fantasies and hopes for these relationships as well. Because in those cases, in a way, we may be future faking ourselves. We can waste a lifetime waiting for the someday better. But as an important exercise here, stop and ask yourself how you would feel if you waited another 5 years, another 10 years, and none of these promises of change or resources or experiences or whatever came true. You stay based on how it is today, not on the basis of the fantasy or hope of what it could be. That's what's important. Because when we put our hope into the future faking or any future with a narcissistic person, the mistake we make is that we pull the hope out of ourselves. Hope that helps, and watch yourself when you have those little short-term realistic future fakes, because those can keep you stuck for a really long time. Thanks again.